Good morning. Hello, everybody. I am sharing this around. Hi, Leslie. Good morning. Let me know you're here in the comments if you are here. If you are live, all right, that's all shared around. I've got this in a bunch of different places. Yep, pull your mic closer. Okay, we may just need to bring this up a little. I think I messed with the hopefully this is going to be better. Is this better? I hope. Hello, everybody. Good morning. I have to tell you, I was fighting with myself about doing this morning. As you can tell, because it's 11:30 instead of 11. Um, but wanted to come out. Sorry about last week. So many of you know that I had to cancel last week because Lee's dad um, was put in hospice and we had to go up to see him. Hi, Sandra. Good to see you. Hi, Mary Becker. Um, and we went up there and was able to get Lee there to see Pops. Um, and I tell everybody I truly believe that the Pops was just waiting for Lee to get there. Um, because Lee and I both went in and we had our time with him, and he couldn't communicate with us, but um, Lee had his time with him and went in and talked to him, um, and I, of course, just did what I always do, just loved on him. And his mom was there, and his mom fell asleep in the room, and Lee and I were out in the other room, and for about 15 minutes, and Lee's sister came back by and went in, and when she went in, Pops was already gone. God had taken him to heaven, um, and it was, in perfect Pop style to say that he was going to choose when he went and who he was going to hear from and giving everybody a chance. I mean, the great thing, yeah, as Lee said that he and his dad had said everything they needed to say. I mean, they talked every Sunday. Lee sent him a scripture verse every single day on his phone. And when Pops was feeling good, we talked to him. And when he wasn't, sometimes he was grumpy. That's okay. He was known for that even before he got sick. But God really gave Dad a lot of extra time here on Earth. I mean, when we really think back to when he first started experiencing problems, I mean, quite a few times the doctors called, oh, there won't be, he's not going to last long. This isn't going to happen. And basically, all I have to say is, but God, because until God was ready to take him home, he wasn't going nowhere. And he proved that time and time again. Um, I think Dad was just tired. And, just the fight became overwhelming. And I believe God just said, job well done, and called him home. So, and he's whole again. What did Lee say? Lee said, yes, was it yesterday? I'm trying to think. My days are so freaking completely messed up. Oh, on Sunday. He loved going to church, right? he loved going to church, but he hadn't been able to go to church. And so he had been watching online. And Lee and I, of course, were here at the house, and we were watching the church service online. And Lee said, it hit me. Dag, Dad right now is in like the most awesome church service ever up in heaven, right? Um, Celebrating, probably sitting right by um, Jesus' side, because if they put him with Uncle Wayne and some of the other people, he would probably misbehave. We know they would get into trouble, right? If you knew Lee's dad, he loved to fish. I have to believe that he is fishing all the great fishing holes up there. And with his love for his doggies that went on before him, if all dogs do go to heaven, I'm sure those dogs, his dogs, and all the other dogs are there just following him, and he's loving up on them. Many people who have gone on before, but it got me thinking about loss. And everybody, look, loss is hard. It's hard, and by the way, it's supposed to be, because when you love somebody and you lose them here, the truth of the matter is, in order to love, that's why you experience grief. That's why there's mourning. That is also normal. Hi, Victoria. How are you? Hi, Peggy. Hi, Rosie. I see Rosie and Kathy on here. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to. It kind of goes quick for me sometimes. That is part of loving. People go, have you ever like lost somebody in your life, whether it's a relationship or a death or whatever it is, and you're like, you know what? I'm just never going to love anybody again. I'm never going to love. I'm never going to do this. Look, I see it. I think there's a time or two that I felt that way. Um, and I'm looking at how I look at life and death now, and how what I was feeling and what I was thinking when my mom died when I was 16. And I've had a lot of losses in my life. Of course, my mom was my first big experience loss at 16. Losing her and not having the ability to have her see me through some of the toughest agendas on my life, such as marriage and having kids, and even graduation. She wasn't there for graduation. Um, and I think about how I felt then. And the truth of the matter is, I didn't want to love anymore, because my thing was like, nope, if it hurts this much, if it hurts this bad, I don't know if I'm ever going to get through this. And I don't want to care about anybody. But that's not what God intended. And because of who He made us to be, um, wanting us to love on other people, I found out very quickly that God had given me a love for people, even when I didn't want to love people. I think sometimes you don't recognize what you're doing or what you need in your life. I can remember when I moved out of my house, and my first job, real job, was waitressing. And of course, I feel like everything I've done has always had to do with people, even the direct sales industry. It's about people. It's about mentoring people when you have a team. It's about getting to know your customers when you decide to do this, because you are investing yourself. You are investing in your customers. You're investing in the people who came in the restaurant. I'm investing in the people who are trusting me to find the right products for them or to provide the right service for them. Um, and I always say, not that everybody's a people person, but if you're not a people person, I don't really understand how you can be in the industry. I really don't, because the whole deal of having a team and being able to mentor them and being able to celebrate them and be able to watch them hit goals, and just know that because they went out of their comfort zone, they could do things. That is a great feeling as a leader. That is a great feeling as a person. To watch your kids maybe struggle with something and then get over the hump and accomplish something. There's nothing like it. There really isn't anything like it. And I lost. Now, my dad lived a long time, and here I'm gonna tell you something right now, y'all. Everybody's gonna die, even you. Ain't nobody getting out of here alive, okay? Okay? This is what happens. We have this life, this short span, and people are like, I want to live to be 100. Well, if I can do that and not pee and slobber all over everybody, I'm all right with that, okay? But I believe I am closer to the other side than I was, of course, 25 years ago. But I do believe that we have this short span that we have here, but the real living starts after this life. That's what it should be, because heaven awaits us on the other side, and our loved ones who knew Jesus are going to await us on the other side. And what I do know is my mom and my dad and my brother and my pops and my Aunt Joyce, and I could go on and on and on and on with so many people that I have lost in my life. I know that they are in heaven, and I believe that the celebration of eternity is going to be amazing if you know the Lord. But who I want to talk to right now is the people who are kind of struggling still with the loss. Who I want to talk to right now are the people who are like, I just don't know if I can go on without this person. Maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a child. I mean, it's just, hey, Raj, I was looking for you. Good to see you pop on. People who, I know you don't want to believe this, but you do know that Satan will take the loss of someone or something in your life, and he can use it. He can use it to stop you in your tracks. He can use it to not take whatever that person has given you in your life that you lost and say, I don't want you to use any of that. I want you to suffer and to dive into grief and mourning so severely that you will not ever take a step forward. Now, here's the truth. I felt like for a long time that's how I was living after I lost my mom. I was 16. And as much as I would love to tell you I had this amazing, matured, wonderful, great relationship with my God, I did not. I was angry at him because I knew that he could have stopped that from happening if he had chosen to. And I think most people, maybe that's how they feel. But this world is just a world that is full of disease, and it's full of sin, and it's full of wrongdoing. And I don't believe that's how God intended it when he put all this together. But because of what happened, because sin entered the world, we have these things. We have these things. But what happens is it doesn't end there. What I do now, yes, I even do in my mom's name, but what I do now, I do for God, because God has said, Molly, I have allowed you not only to go through and get through your mom's death, but I've allowed you to get through a bad relationship with your father, problems with your family, problems with how you decided to live your life, wrong turns, wrong decisions, um, bad business moves, a bad marriage that ended in divorce, problems with my kids. All of these things, in one way or another, appear to be a loss of some kind. But do we allow God to take those episodes, those things, that grief, that loss, and do we allow him to take what we learned or what we experienced? Like have you ever been like, nobody's ever loved me like my mama, like she loved me through it all, like even when she was whipping my behind because I did something wrong, my mama loved me like nobody else loved me. The truth of the matter is, I know that. But do I decide to take that and just lock it all inside of me and mourn the fact that I don't have it anymore? Do I just decide to take the fact that twice in my life, not just once, but twice, I have been blessed with in laws that are absolutely wonderful, not just once, but twice? My in-laws, the Stone side of the family, let me tell you something. I had the best father-in-law, the best mother-in-law, and they both died younger than they should have, in my opinion. God had other plans, right? But I had such a good relationship. And then I have, of course, Donna and Harold, mom and pop, that Lee's parents, and Pop and I, let me tell you, when everybody else doubted me, doubted what Lee and I had, doubted if it would last, doubted if they even wanted me in Lee's life. Pop was one of two people on Lee's side of the family who just embraced me and gave me a chance. He embraced my kids. He embraced, it didn't matter what I went through, it didn't matter what I came from. And he showed that unconditional love. So if somebody were to say, in the 20 years that you have been with Lee, what did he give you? Well, one, he gave me a lot of laughter. Two, he picked on me a whole lot. Three, he taught me so much. Cooking. My first experience of fried green tomatoes was with my father-in-law, and they were fabulous. And if you know anything about not having a gallbladder, you're not supposed to eat a lot of tomatoes because it will wreak havoc on your tummy, right? And I didn't just eat a couple of slices of fried green tomatoes. I had 3 sliced up fried green tomatoes, and I knew what they were going to do to my tummy, but they were delicious. And he showed me in the cast iron how to fix these. And I was skeptical. I love tomatoes, but I was skeptical. But they were fabulous, and we got to experience that together. And we talked about grilling, and he shared recipes with me. Because you know my love for cooking, right? Well, he had that too. He would tell me stories. I could call him. I remember the time Lee and I had to replace a toilet in an old house. And we called him, and he walked us right through it. And so, of course, he teased me afterwards, like, see, now, if anything ever happened with Avon, you could go fix toilets. And I thought, ha, ha, ha. But yet, he did. Sometimes he was a man of few words. And when he didn't want to talk, he just didn't talk. He just went. Ready to eat dinner? He was tired, whatever. Click, he was gone. Do I take those things and do I celebrate them? Do I take those things and say, thank you, Lord, for allowing me the relationship with this man that, although I wish I had 20 more years with him, do I take those things and do I share them with others? Do I take them, the best part of him, and do I keep it with me and be selfish and go, oh, well, I had that? Or do I use that in my life to go forward? It's kind of like when he wanted to know from Lee and I both, were we right with God? Did we know that if we died, we were going to end up in heaven with him one day when he went? He wanted to make sure that we were straight with God, that we knew that we couldn't work our way to heaven. He wanted to make sure that I knew that he called me a rotten sinner. Okay, I am. I'm a rotten sinner. I mean, we'll probably sin every day, right? One way or another. I'm probably disappointing God. But because of God's grace, he told me that I was going to see him in heaven again one day. And of course, guys, this was a year ago. This is over a year ago. That he just wanted to make sure that our faith was in God. Our faith was in the fact that this wasn't about how many times we prayed. That our faith was in the fact that God sent his son to die on the cross. And because of that, he has covered a multitude of sins and will continue to do that. And he wanted to make sure that I knew the only way to heaven was through God. And he said that to a lot of people. He wanted to make sure. He wanted to make sure that his granddaughter is going to tell her daughters to make sure that nothing is missed. That there's going to be this grand reunion one day, whether it's because Christ comes again or whether we all die and cross over. He wanted to make sure the reunion was going to be real. But what am I going to do here? Now I'm still here. Now I'm here. Now I'm here, and I'm going to tell you the loss is hard. Is it like Lee's loss? No, Lisa's son. Is it like his wife's loss? Nope, that's his spouse. But it's a loss because he was someone important in my life. But what are we going to do with that? Are we going to sit, and are we just going to sit in the mourning? Are we going to sit in the loathing? Are we going to sit in the, it's so hard, the holidays are here? Worst time in the world, I'm going to admit it, is to lose people over the holidays. But let me let you in on a secret if you haven't. You can lose somebody in February, and Christmas is going to be hard. Thanksgiving is going to be hard. It doesn't matter. I'm here to tell you that whether you lose them on Christmas Day or you lose them on President's Day, loss is difficult. The reason you miss them is because there was such immense love. And in most cases, an unconditional love. A love like Jesus. It's going to hurt. There's going to be an empty seat at the table, no matter what. Hey, Marlene. But here's the deal. For a moment, I want you to step away from the mourning, from the loss. And I want you to think, just pick one thing, two things, three things. And if you're like me, maybe dozens of things. What did that person leave you with? Was it a child who left you with laughs and memories? When I think about the fact that if God takes me tomorrow, I know my kids, as much as it will hurt them, to lose me one day, they have stories. They have stories that is going to keep that memory alive in the best way. And by the way, even the bad stories. Even the bad stories, because you want to know, I talk a lot to you guys about the time that my sons just kind of walked out of my life for a while. But did you hear the ending, the redemption? That they came back into my life. It was hard going through the hard stuff, but guess what? They came back. There was a story of them walking back, and when they did, the relationship became better than I could have ever imagined. They're going to have those memories. They're also going to tell you the funny ones about the time that Earl stole a Pokemon card. And Mom knew he had it. Mom didn't know everything how it went down, but I knew. And now he's going to tell you that I beat him so bad that it took the SWAT team to get me off of him, right? That kind of thing, because he lied to me. He's going to tell you that. Anthony's going to tell you the time that I took him and pushed him into a closet. But what I did is I did like a Wonder Woman move, and really I threw him through the closet in the brick wall, right? Because it gets better. The story gets better every single time they tell it. But you know what they're going to really remember? That even through those bad times, Mama loved them no matter what. You know what I don't doubt? That my mom loved me like there was no tomorrow. But can I tell you? And I don't even know if I've told this story, and I'm not going to retell it now, but we'll do this another time. The time that it led me to steal, and I'm talking like 7, maybe I was 6 or 7, maybe 8, I don't know, but between 6 and 8, being in the giant food store, and because I had this thing with pantyhose, because this girl at school always called me just a little baby because I always wore socks because mama wouldn't let me wear pantyhose. I wasn't old enough, but this girl did. But I was decided to show her up. I knew mama wasn't going to buy them, so like I thought I could steal them. Let me tell you, remember the ones that come in the pack, the square pack? Well, when you're 6 or 7 years old and you think that you can hide that in the front of your coat and zip it up, and suddenly your body goes square instead of soft and squishy like it was, mama knew. Mama knew. And I remember when I got home, my mom paddled my tail to where I was climbing up a wall trying to get away from her. I will never forget that. And the whole time that she was spanking me, she was crying. I'm sure disappointment. I'm sure the fact that she had to spank me, that her little girl did this. Do you know what happened because mama did that? Guess what? Guess what? I never stole again, okay? Like I was never going to take pantyhose again. I need you to know that what my mama did that I could not see at the time, my mama left me with the fact, girl, there are consequences, okay, for what you do, and I am here to remind you of this the next time you think you won't pick something up. So maybe mama saved me from a criminal background, because she also made me go apologize to the manager of the store. And there ain't nothing worse than that. I don't care how old you are. These are stories, but yet what a life lesson. Loss and sadness and mourning and pulling away and putting up walls, all of that is part of the feelings. It's all part of the feelings and not the feel goods, okay? I need you to know it's okay to feel that. I need you to know it's okay to be there. But what's not okay is for you to unpack there. Don't unpack in the grief. Don't let death, don't let loss rob you of what you were left with and the blessing that you were given to have that person in your life. Because let me let you in on something, and this is very real. This is very real. Whether you are a mom or a dad who's lost a child, whether you are a kid who's lost his parents too early, or maybe even earlier than you wanted to, whether you were married and then divorced, or you lost your spouse, whatever that looks like, I need you to know those people were never ours. They were God's. They were God's to begin with, and they have been on borrowed time from the moment they drew their first breath. They were God's. And whether you had that person for an hour, whether you had that person for 60 years, for 20 years, if you're me, 16 years, whatever that looks like, there is a lesson, there is an experience, there is love, there is, some people teach you who you want to be in life, and some people teach you who you don't want to be in life. But there is a lesson of how and who you're going to choose that this moment, this thing that has happened, this loss, you are going to choose how you're going to take this thing, this loss, and how you're going to let this work in your life for the good. And it's hard because you have to choose the better. You have to choose the good. You have to choose not to ball up in a corner and give up. You have to choose not to stay mad. You have to choose to work past the sadness. And I'm here to tell you, you are never going to stop missing them, not until you're reunited. You are never going to stop having a hole in your heart, a missing chair that someone's not sitting in. That's never going to escape, but what you can do is figure out what they gave you in this life, that you can go forth and honor them with everything they gave you. Maybe you have kids, and maybe you haven't really done your best to love your kids the way you think your mama or daddy loved you. Maybe you don't have kids, but there are other people out there waiting to be loved, knowing that maybe you could be different for somebody that needs your experience, that needs the fact that you didn't give up, that lets you know it is okay to cry out of the blue. It is okay to have a moment and something reminds you of your mom. My goodness, I have been decorating for a couple of days off and on, and something will remind me of my mama. Something will remind me about what it was like when I was a kid. And we had our neighbors over yesterday, and they were eating with us, and Lee was telling them about the trees, and I have a tree upstairs that is blue and silver with white lights. And my mom used to do a tree with blue and silver balls and blue lights, and she would do this on Christmas Eve when I was a kid, and Santa would bring the tree, right? I don't know how she did all this. She was an amazing person. And we decided to do that tree. And every time I look at it, I think, yeah, yeah, Mom, you left me with so much, because she had such a love for Christmas, but she had such a love for the Christmas story. She loved the Santa Claus. She loved the gifts. She loved the excitement of all of us as kids doing the presents, but she also told us about the manger scene, and she told us about Jesus, and she told us the true meaning, and she did all of this. And I thought, and I'm 60 years old, and I still have that. I still have what I have. I could have chose to shut down and say I'm never going to celebrate Christmas again, because my mom died on October 28th, and it was so close to Christmas, and I remember it being so horrible, Thanksgiving and Christmas that year, that nothing seemed the same. Mom wasn't there. She held it together, and I just didn't understand why the one person who kept everything going for us was taken. Later on in life, I figured out that everything she had given me, and that's 16 years, that when my kids came along, that there was no way that couldn't come bubbling out, that I was going to show my kids the same experience. There was no way that everything she had instilled in me, writing a poem about me, telling life, that I loved, that I loved people, that there was just a glow in my eyes, that when I saw people, I just wanted to talk to them. I just wanted to help them. I just wanted to laugh with them. And here I am at 60. And that has bloomed and blossomed into businesses and jobs and door dashing and helping people. And knowing that when I have provided a service, and I am so proud of what I've done, because see, that's what I watched my mom do. My mom waitressed, and I would go to the restaurant and I would sit at the counter, and all the customers loved her. Now, she was a beautiful woman. I understand why the men loved her for sure. But my mom only had eyes for my daddy, and she loved making sure that when people left that restaurant, that they had an experience, and she was part of it, and it was going to be good. From the eggs being sunny side up, yeah, to the fact that that coffee was going to be brewing hot to help those police officers in the barracks across 301. I'll never forget this, knowing they had what they needed, because they were working that midnight shift to keep everybody in the county safe. My goodness. And here I am, I think, This didn't come on its own. God gave me the mom that he gave me because that's the way, that was 16 years of bringing me up to who I have become. And as for my dad, who I believe now probably did the absolute best he could do, I don't know. Sometimes I say to myself, no, Pops, I think you could have done better. Maybe he could have, maybe not. I know he didn't have a great childhood. That's no excuse. I just need you to know that. That's no excuse. If you're a bad dad, do better. You can. But this is what I know. Because of everything I went through with my dad and not feeling loved and didn't feel like I was good enough, and but yet my mom did, and I didn't get it, and I tried, and I had to figure out who he was going to be in my life, and that shifted because I wanted him to be what every other dad was in the lives of my friends, and I wanted him to be a part of everything, and I wanted him to be somebody I could go hug and he'd make everything right, and that is not what happened, and I was angry with God about that too. And eventually I realized that I really needed to look to my real father, God, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I needed to look to him to realize that whether I had an earthly father who should have done what he should have done here, it's okay. Molly, love him in spite of it. Molly, do what you need to do. Find your place for him, Molly, and show him that you can still be there. I didn't always do a great job at that. That's the truth. Because the anger and the sadness and the feel sorry for Molly would come up numerous times. But what I do know is that my dad, again, some people teach you who you don't want to be in your life. Don't look at every bad experience and every bad lesson and think this was horrible, this was bad. This is like, I can't believe this happened. This person, who were they in my life? No, 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 no. Sometimes it's not the best people in your life who teach you the best lessons. Sometimes it's the people who really haven't been there, the people who didn't do it right, the people who didn't even seem to care to get it right, the people who were selfish, the people who just wanted to take care of them, the people who never wanted to get me. Sometimes it's those people who give you the biggest lessons in life, who you want to be or who you don't want to be. And it allows you, God gives us the examples to do better. See, God says everybody makes their choices to be who they want to be. God doesn't say, you're going to be bad, you're going to be good, you're going to kind of be in the middle, but we're going to love you. No, he doesn't. See, we choose. Like it or not, if you're doing something that ain't good, it's your choice. It ain't God's choice. He didn't lead you there to do the wrong. He didn't do that. You choose. And then some of us are left to learn from those lessons. I have figured out that this is the short end of what is waiting for us. That we need to do the best we can do here. And by the way, God knows we're going to get it wrong at times. But Lee and I are not going to wallow in the grief of losing Dad, because you know what? He's healed. He's not struggling to get out of bed or standing up. He's not falling on the floor any longer. And the selfish side of all of us in the family says we just like to help him out of bed one more time. We would just like to see him tired one more time. No, Dad was so tired. He was so tired of being tired. He was so tired of his heart not working. He was so tired of hospitals. He was so tired of rehabs. He was so tired of not being able to stand up and hug his wife the way he wanted to have long conversations with his kids like he wanted to. We knew what he wanted. But now he is everything and more. He is whole. He is walking to the fishing hole without losing his breath. He is sitting at the table of God, eating meals with him. He is looking at people who went on before him, who were sick or troubled, or maybe it was an accident, and he is seeing them whole in their wholeness with God. And we need to honor those who have gone on before and use what they have given us here to make the best of what we have, to share the good news that there is a hereafter. This is only a stop. And instead of thinking about the loss all the time and the fact that they're not here and the emptiness, start sharing the greatness and the memories and the lessons that they have given us. Let's honor the time that God has given the people. Moms, if you've lost your mom, if you've lost one of your kids, hear me. I'm not being hard. I've never lost a child. I don't know what that's like. And God knows my heart bleeds for you. Do not make the children who are left suffer through your mourning. Love them completely. Love them wholly. Know that the child that you had to let go of, he's in heaven waiting for you. He's going to be there with open arms. Where you been? What took you so long? Hey, Mom, let me introduce you to so-and-so. If you don't have that comfort of knowing that you can be there with them, you need to grab hold. You need to grab hold. You need to know that God is waiting for you to choose him. And while you're here on this earth, listen to me. Honor your parents' memory, not by sitting in front of a candle, watching it burn, and crying the whole time. Honor by sharing. Honor by going out and being the person that they raised. Be better than you've been until now. Show somebody else who didn't have the benefit of a mom or a dad or whatever it may be, or maybe a child, maybe somebody who can, let them know through your experience what it's like, and love those people with the love that you were given. Sometimes, with all the loss that I've had in my life, that is the only thing that brings me joy, is to know that when somebody is going through something fresh, that I can be the example that says, I'm here to tell you, you're going to get through this. You're not going to get over it. If somebody tells you to get over it, it's because they don't know. They've never been there. But you can get through it every single day. Some days you're going to do better. Some days you're not. But everything that they have given you, you can give back. You can pay it forward with the fact that you did, the fact that you can share your story, the fact that that love, that parent, that loved one, the person you lost, the reason you feel the way you do, don't let that love just sit there all barreled up. Don't do that. Give that love to somebody else. Love up on somebody who needs it. Pops would not want me to have not done this, because he used to get on these. On his good days, he would get on these lives with me and he would comment. And although I don't see that today, I think he's up in heaven saying, I knew you had it in you. I knew you'd find the strength. Hi, Sarah. Love you, my friend. I knew you could do this. I knew you were stronger than the pain, Molly. I knew that you could be stronger than the loss. I knew that you could be used as a blessing to other people who might be going through a really rough time too. This message isn't just for me, yet I speak to myself. That I have a husband who is upstairs trying to get back to the norm. And what I love is this. I don't know if I'm supposed to share it, but I'm going to. Um, Pop's brother, Randy, Uncle Randy, he was, of course, there at the funeral, him and his wife, Debbie. And, Lee was, of course, sharing with him things that he did with his dad, things that he missed. And Uncle Randy said, well, you can share that Bible verse with me. You can text it to me. And I thought to myself, what a blessing. That I'm sure Pops is up in heaven saying, yep, I got those verses, and every day I needed them. Some days they landed, some days they may not have. But now they have the opportunity to land in front of somebody else who may need them. It's that pay it forward thing. You don't do any good keeping all that you've been given to yourself. Even if you've been hurt, don't let what somebody's done rob you of what you can do that is great, that is giving, that is loving, that you can show up for somebody else, because not everybody is like that bad person in your life. Not every experience has to be bad. Quit letting bad Christians, bad churches, bad pastors, again, I say this almost every time, rob you of a good God. Because whether you want to believe this or not, he made something very special with you. And maybe you haven't figured out what that is, but you are here for a reason. So are you going to honor that? And are you going to make a difference in somebody's life? Are you going to love people through it? Or are you just going to sit in your sadness and not honor that person that you're missing so badly? I've been in both places. So it's not that I don't know. Because I wasted a lot of time being angry and sad and balled up and not wanting to love anybody else and not wanting to be involved and putting the walls up. That wasn't honoring anybody in my life that I lost. But being who I was meant to be because of all those people, because God placed them in my life, that is honoring those people. So I hope if you're sad today, you will listen to this with an open heart and an open mind and realize that God can use anything and anybody. He can use it all to make you better. He can use it all to help somebody else, because that's what we're here for. Like it or not, even with people who disappoint you, we are here to love people and drop them at the feet of Jesus. Love the Lord your God with all your heart. And love people. And loving people can be hard, okay? Especially the annoying ones. You ain't got to tell me. I know got a lot of people in my life. But we are here for something more. And until he calls you home, and I hope that is going to be home for you. I hope you choose him, because heaven doesn't come just because you die. Heaven comes because you choose him. And even if you thought, I don't believe, maybe now is the time to start looking and investigating and figuring out, is there something else to this? Because when my time comes, I'm going to tell you what my pop said. I love you and I want to see you there, but it's your choice. I love you and I want to see you there, but you have to choose it. I hope this has helped. I think it's going to help me in the end because I know I got through it. Keep praying for Lee's family, if you will, for comfort through all of it, because like it or not, we're human and we're going through the stages of loss, and that's okay. But I just don't want any of them to stay there. I want them to take every great experience that they ever had with this amazing man, and I want them to be better because of him, because it was no accident that God placed him in my life. He knew I needed people to replace what maybe I didn't have in my life, and Pops did that. And I will eternally be grateful to God and to him that he loved me no matter what. You guys have a great rest of your week. And if you need some prayer, hey, I'm here for it. I pray for all of you. Just hope that I hope you don't let the holiday season become bad for you. Find grace for yourself. It's okay to enjoy a time without them. It's okay to make new memories. It's okay to share all that love that they gave you with other people. God bless.